Brings you to Netroots Nation?
Oh, well, New York Broadcast Trades Council is an organization made up of the unions that have collective bargaining agreements with the New York City television stations. So Netroots Nations is the opportunity for me to find out what best practices all these other labor organizations and activist groups are using to be effective in helping their members and lobbying the government for change. And this has been awesome. Las Vegas is great. Netroots Nation 2010 has been incredible. The things we're working on, media consolidation, things like the NBC-Comcast merger. There's 11 companies own more than 90% of the print, television and radio media outlets in this country. It's not a good thing. It is against the public interest in terms of diversity of media. We're trying to fight that. Things like the local news services that they're starting in every major city, where each station provides one ENG news crew, and there's an assignment editor. So in New York, there's 5. Each of those news crews does 2 stories a day, and each station gets all 10 stories. So you get 10 stories for the price of 2, and we've lost 38% of the broadcast engineers working staff at TV stations in the last 14 months as a result. But more importantly, there's one person who is deciding what's going to be covered on all the broadcast stations. This is happening across the nation. In addition, it's a restrictive trade issue. If you and I decided to start a news outlet, to get 10 stories, we need to hire 5 crews. CBS only has to hire 1. Well, that's a serious barrier to entry in the market, and that affects primarily minorities and non-mainstream groups who have less capital. That's no accident. If we want to have an independent, diverse, objective news media in this country, we have to stop consolidation, we have to stop the use of local news services, all those things. The only way to do that is to organize at the grassroots levels in the community, lobby our elected officials to get congressional hearings, to get investigations by the Department of Labor, the Federal Trade Commission, and have the FCC force these media companies to meet their fiduciary responsibility to the public interest, because after all, the airwaves belong to everyone, and they just lease them in the public interest. If you're not meeting the public interest, then we can take it back, and we should. And so I'm here to drum up support for this and to learn new best practices that I can take back to be more effective. Thank you for speaking to me.
Yeah, what type of what have you learned so far from the conference? Great tips for
wonderful tips for cold calling, forms to use for coding, some wonderful ideas for how to better integrate the social media with organizing campaigns and issue campaigns, and made some great contacts with people who are doing that work that we could build coalitions with. Democracy for America, for example. We did not have a relationship with them. Now we do, and now we have access to their members and their assets for putting pressure on the government to make media do the right thing. And tons of things like that. It's also wonderful to be with like-minded people who care about America. It's important. There's always the question of who motivates the motivator. You know, who motivates the leadership to motivate the membership? And it's conferences like these where the leaderships of various organizations get together, where we can revitalize and go back and do a better job representing our members. And that's why I'm here.
Great. Is there one message that you've either picked up or that you want everyone to get out of you from the conference?
Absolutely. Positive behavior. Okay? Act with care and with love. Okay? And when it gets harder to love, love harder. Let the other side do the negative campaigning. Okay? Because if we do that, they'll bring themselves down without our help. Okay? Take the high road and never stop working. Just keep going. What was it Winston Churchill said? Never give in, in all things great and small, never give in, because even the smallest thing makes a huge difference. With the BP spill, as Mr. Vance just said in there, they made a small decision to cheat a little tiny bit by saving $500,000 on safety equipment. It's a small thing. And then there's this gigantic spill. Huge mistake. A small negative decision based on greed. Huge unintended consequences. Well, the opposite is also true. Small steps, small efforts made with love will bring in huge results. That's the message to take away from here.
Excellent, great. Thank you very much for speaking with us.
Truly a pleasure. Enjoy the day.